And if race one was anything to go by, then we're in for a treat. Champions performing, contenders challenging the crown. Who will take control of the MotoE World Championship as we leave Le Mans in the rear-view mirror? 8 laps of electric class brilliance await us as we throw the checkered flag on round 2. It's race time for MotoE. So hello and welcome back to the Le Mans circuit here in northwestern France. And as you can see, it's quite toasty here, which is a nice change to what we've had in seasons gone by at the French venue. 27 degrees down there, the hottest conditions that we've had all weekend. The MotoE riders were actually hoping that today was going to be slightly cooler, but no such thing. 80 degrees Fahrenheit for those that use that one, but 27 degrees for us British and particularly others elsewhere in the world. So here in Le Mans then, after race one, some drama in that race one indeed, and we'll get onto that as we go down to the grid. But of course, it is Jack Gorst here in the commentary box, and alongside me as ever is Neil Morrison, and down on the grid cooking in the French heat is Fran Wild, and I think we can actually go down to her now as she has Jordi Torres.
I do indeed, and today Jordi has another umbrella individual. We've had David Alonso already, now we've switched to Moto3 newcomer. Joel, don't look too scared, I'm not going to ask you. Jordi, pretty good race one for you today. What are you feeling like ahead of race two? Fairly similar conditions to we've had yesterday in the qualifying session, and it's still nice and warm. Do you think you've made a step to just try and get that podium?
Yes, we need to think about now it's more hot, and for sure we have a less grip and we need to manage this, but our goal keep to reach, to get some confidence on the front, because I don't feel too much confident in their part. No, when I release the brake I don't feel too much comfortable. But yes, our goal, our objective for this second race is to be another time between the group, fighting, learning always, and be a little more aggressive maybe.
We'll see. Elbows out. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fran. Thanks as well to Jordi Torres. He was 4th in race one, narrowly missing out on a spot on the podium. You have to imagine once he gets that comfort back entering the turn, then he will be a force up at the front once again in this class. It was disappointment though for his compatriot, pole sitter Hector Garzo, who was fighting for the lead, Jack, and crashed out up at the Dunlop chicane.
Yeah, unfortunate for Hector Garzo, obviously on a really good run of form with 4 straight podiums at the back of this year and the start of this year, but unfortunately, as Neil says, that took the front crash just after he made a move actually on this rider here, Nicola Spinelli, for the lead as well. So Hector definitely was on for a solid result, whether it was that victory that he's been searching for over a year now to taste that victory success again. Well, we do not know that one is left in the past. But if he can do it in race 2, I mean, I think many people think he can. He's a particularly good pace here this weekend, so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll have to see what this man can do. Eric Granado, I think, will be a little disappointed with 6th place in race 1. He did manage to bring it home and get some important points on the board. Granado was a victor at this track in 2021. I think we're going to pass back down to Fran, because she's managed to grab hold of the rider who qualified 5th, middle of 2nd row, Oscar Gutierrez.
Indeed. So, as I said, your rookie season continues to impress. You did one event last year and we were like, And now, so far, we're going pretty well. 2nd row start. How are you feeling ahead of race 2? What did you learn earlier for this one?
Yeah, I feel really motivated for this race. This morning we struggled a little bit in the first lap. But it's one thing I need to improve, I know. But yeah, I'm completely focused, and I believe in the work we are doing. We are strong, and we know. So we'll try to make a first good lap, and then try to fight for the victory.
We'll see. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, this is only Oscar's 6th start in the MotoE class, so it's a bit of a thing to get used to, having no warm-up lap, so you can kind of forgive him for maybe not being the sharpest on that very first lap as the lights go out, but definitely, as he says, he already knows, needs to improve it, and he does, and hopefully he will.
Yeah, absolutely. And he came home in a solid 7th place earlier, so by no means a disaster. Interesting what Torres was saying, track temperatures surpassing 40 degrees here. We're not always used to those kind of conditions here at Le Mans. I think it might make it quite critical overtaking, especially on the front end in some of those heavy braking zones. I'm thinking turn 7, turn 8, where we saw many riders crash out in MotoE races last year. I think it's going to be well, quite tough to keep it upright whenever you're fighting at the front.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we've seen in MotoGP qualifying today and even in the sprint, a few crashes, definitely some front-end crash capabilities out there, but hopefully in MotoE we get away with that in race 2 now. Obviously in race 2 as well, we need to touch on Kevin Zannoni, don't we? Because fantastic podium for Kevin Zannoni. 2nd place, his first podium in about a year, and did really, really well, actually finishing ahead of his teammate here. We see on screen Jordi Torres.
Exactly, and I like the look of his, the person that's holding his brolly there. That's Moto3 contender Joel Esteban, who's had a great weekend here for the Aspar team. But yes, you're absolutely right. In some ways, the star of the show was the rider you were just speaking of, Kevin Zannoni, who came through from 10th on the grid up into 2nd. It was a sensational ride, sensational comeback, and if he can make a quick getaway, and there's no one pushing to get clear at the front at that time, Zannoni could be on for another podium in this race.
Yeah, absolutely, and some really, really aggressive and great battling between him and Mattia Casadei when they were jousting for 2nd place. They actually overtook each other 5 times, so a really, really good one indeed. But we're ready and road to go for MotoE Race 2, and let's take a look at the full grid ahead of this one. So then just 3 minutes until we will be lights out and green lighted for this race 2 and round 2 of MotoE, and there you can see the full starting grid. Hector Garzo has a 2nd shot at it again from pole position. Can he take that victory? We will wait and see. Nicola Spinelli will be looking to double up, and Eric Granado will be hoping that he doesn't have a slightly disappointing race like what he had the first time out. Alessandro Sacconi, of course, part of that collision with Eric Granado. He'll be looking to make amends in this one as well. And back there you can see Matteo Ferrari in 14th. Can he make another charge through like he did in race 1? Came through to 8th there. Hopefully the Italian can do a little bit higher than that. But we're about to see what can happen. Neil, time for predictions, I do believe. Fran, get ready as well for your predictions. Who do you think? I think
this rider here on our screens is going to put the wrongs of the first race right. I think Hector Garzo is going to get his first victory of the season. What about you, Jack?
I was actually going to say Hector as well, but in the case of making it different, I'm going to say Mattia Casadei, because he did the same in Portimao, made some changes, came back and did the victory.
What about you, Fran?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. So now I don't know who to go with. I think those 3 are going to certainly be the fastest. Making it to the finish line sometimes is a different matter, but I'm interested to see as well what Zannoni's got and whether Torres can make that step. Don't know if he's had a look through what Kevin was doing to try and help him move forward. And Zacconi, we didn't get to see him finish last time, so let's see what he's got.
Yeah, I think that's a good shot, Fran. I was just about to mention Alessandro Zacconi coming from 7th on the grid. We just had a spot of him, the Italian, running the number 61. Teammates to race 1 winner Nicola Spinelli in the Tech 3 squad this year. Zacconi was up there fighting for the podium when he had that rather controversial contact with Eric Granado at the Dunlop chicane. But here it is time then to clear the grid. Tyre warmers coming off. Less than 1 minute to go before the start of race 2. This is when all of these riders will be entering in to that concentration zone as the seconds tick down for this all-important start. So much riding on the getaway and the first chicane. We've had so much drama into the Dunlop chicane in years gone by in the MotoE World Championship. Let's hope that we see them all funnel through safely on this first lap.
So 30 seconds then, certainly as Neil says, the nerves starting to kick in. The starter at the head of the grid there waving the red flag, and you'll be able to see in just a few seconds that the green flag will be waved at the back. A reminder again, there is no warm-up lap, so once we go and the lights go off, we'll be firing into racing action for the 2nd time today in MotoE here in Le Mans. Watch the lights in the top left hand of the corner, and they will be off, and they are off. And who is it that's going to get the start this time? It looks as though Garzo might have got got the jump on everyone, but also the number 99 of Oscar Gutierrez is powering through, maybe into third or fourth on the inside through turn one. That'll be brave if he can do that. As Spinelli looks down the inside of Garzo, he does. So the race one winner takes the advantage early on. Who's going to funnel through behind him? Looks as though Zacconi has got the better of. Oh, that's a big moment for Mantovani. He's lost a few positions, and I think Ferrari managed to take advantage of that. But Torres is actually way down as well. He's dropped to about 10.
Yeah, great stuff from Gutierrez, who's up into fourth. Casadei managed to repeat his feats from the race one. He jumps up from fourth on the grid. He's managed to get past Hector Garzo, although Garzo is going to go right back through at turn 7. Although, wow, Casadei drops it over his nose. Super start from him, and once again Spinelli leading from the front.
So these two then have been the class of the field so far. They've shared the victories in 2024, and it looks as though Casadei is going to look up the inside, down into Garage Vert, but no way through this time around. But that's not to worry. Plenty of racing still to go as Spinelli gets a little bit wide and out onto the curb. Watch the slipstream effect. We saw it was quite large in race one. Will he be able to pull out of that slipstream and get him down into... Oh, no, I don't think he will. He's just going to slot in behind. Make sure not to go wide there, Mattia. And he's got it all covered for now. But look at that. Hector Garzo has got the hooks in, and he's locked there in third.
Yeah, he is indeed. Casadei already looking far more aggressive in this race than he was earlier on, and he's so close to Spinelli. Surely a change of lead is incoming. He saw what Spinelli can do when he has clear track ahead in the first race earlier today, and he's determined not to let his compatriot get the same kind of advantage. All sorts of moves being made back in the pack. That's Zacconi going underneath Mikel Pons, so Zacconi's had a decent start from 7th, and that's Granado going underneath the Spaniard out of the final turn.
Yeah, Eric didn't need a second invitation, did he? There, wow, give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Eric pinches through on Mikel Pons, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold that one through.
And there is a change of lead. Casadei dives underneath into turn number 2 to take the lead from Spinelli. What a fantastic move. We saw that in several different occasions in race one. That is Kevin Zanoni going pretty wide, going under Mikel Pons as they come back and cut through turn number 4, but Pons is going to get him on the cutback.
So fantastic stuff there. Mattia Casadei, well, he loves going away and working in between races, doesn't he? He's certainly worked hard, and it seems to be working right now. The reigning world champion does lead this one in the early stages, but these 4, and possibly even these 5, as Zacconi is starting to close in on this lap as well, look set to battle this one all the way through to the end.
Yeah, you mentioned it was a bad start for Jordi Torres. He's had a nightmare first lap. Jordi back in 12th position after a tough old time off the line. He got beaten up a little bit in through the first chicane, and already facing a big job on his hands to score decent points in this one.
You've got to say good job as well from Oscar Gutierrez, Neil. He said he needed to work on that first lap. He definitely did. Made progress off that first lap from 5th to 4th. And looking pretty good here as Hector Garzo looks down the inside. So he is picked off Spinelli too. Yes, he does. Into the Shimano buff S's. Will Spinelli fight back? Coming now through into the Espler. He'll have a look for sure. Is he? Yes, great lunge down the inside from Spinelli. But all this is going to do is allow Casadei to get a gap at the front. And that is a dangerous thing when we know the pace that Mattia has underneath him on that Ducati V21L, as I think Hector was probably going to have a look down into Recordum on there, but not this time round.
Yeah, it was this kind of fighting for second place which gives Spinelli the big break in race one, which allowed him to break clear and have a fairly comfortable ride to first place. You can see he's just done the fastest lap off the race, a 1:40.367. Super stuff from Spinelli. Compare that to, super stuff from Casadei, compare that to Spinelli, who was 7/10 slower in second position. So Casadei put in the hammer down.
Yeah, 1:44.3, definitely a pretty quick lap time, so the hot conditions aren't slowing them down too much. We'll obviously have to see what Spinelli can do this time around. It looks as though he's pretty determined on closing that gap as we now come through La Chapelle. We'll see what the gap is as they come through the first split, whether he does close in at all or not. But I tell you what, Oscar Gutierrez is looking dangerous there in 4th place. Hector Garzo under a load of pressure. He
is looking very good, isn't he? The number 99 in 4th position, riding for the Axis MSI squad. New, of course, to this World Championship this year, as well as they are to MotoE. Brilliant stuff from Gutierrez. Kevin Zanoni isn't quite having the same impact in this race as he enjoyed in race one. He's been stranded in 8th position, struggling to get past Mikel Pons and Eric Granado just ahead. You can see him, the blue bike just in the background there. So Zanoni, I don't think is going to be able to repeat his podium feats from earlier today.
No, definitely not. But as we saw in race one, there was a little bit of chaos that followed. So far, though, all is good and all is clear. Everyone's still on board their MotoE machines, which is what we like to see. They can see in the championship, and it's probably early to start talking about the championship. But to be honest, this race is kind of the gateway into the meat of the championship.
Oh,
someone has gone down. Who was that? Was it Gutierrez?
Oh, it's Garzo.
Oh, Garzo. So twice in one day. Lightning does strike twice. Hector Garzo has thrown it away for a second time here at round 2.
Absolute nightmare from Hector Garzo. Qualifying on pole position, we were thinking he is odds on to score his first victory of the year, but the Spaniard has thrown it away not just once but twice today, and that will be some frustration as we see another change to the lead up at turn 1. Sensational stuff from Spinelli.
Brilliant move then from Spinelli. We saw plenty of moves through turn 1 in race 1, and there's another for you. Check that one off. Fantastic moves here in MotoE, and Spinelli sets the fastest lap of the race to take advantage and control in this one. Mattia Casadei on board. Can he strike back at all on this lap? Because, as we saw in race 1, once Spinelli had that advantage to be able to get into the lead, no one could do anything about him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Oscar Gutierrez initially lost a little bit of ground to the top 2 after Garzo crashed out of 3rd, but you can see he's made that back up. And Casadei will have a bit of work, not just to keep Spinelli within his reach, but to defend that 2nd place, because Gutierrez is looking really, really strong here.
Just to go back to Hector Garzo, such a shame for him. Oh, I think Armando Pontone, the rookie, has gone down. That's unfortunate for him on the Aruba Cloud bike. But Hector Garzo, when he was saying yesterday after qualifying, he was saying that it was really, really tricky with the hot temperatures with that grip. So definitely we've seen evidence of that today, as unfortunately Hector has gone down twice. But look at this from Mattia Casadei. He's certainly not letting Spinelli have this. Of course, Spinelli a contender to the crown, but the actual one that does hold the crown is not going to let him have this pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm impressed by Alessandro Zacconi back in the mix. Once again, he's had some misfortune so far this year, obviously taking Jordi Torres out of the first race of the year, then crashing with Hector Garzo in the race earlier today. But he's there in this podium fight. And I hear some gravel in the background. There's been another crash. I think you can see the yellow flags have come out in Sector 4. And I think that is a crash for Eric Renado. Unfortunately, the Brazilian then has fallen down for the 2nd time in a race this year.
So a dismal day for Eric Granado. He was so positive after qualifying yesterday, saying that he could do the pace on his own. And what we've seen today is really, he hasn't quite had the pace to match those top riders. And unfortunately, he has gone down at turn 13, just it to record him on. So such a shame for Eric there. You can see that he's all okay. Picked the bike up. The marshal's just checking it over. But that is down and out for round 2 here for Eric.
Yeah, he'll live to fight another day. Big disappointment, though, for the Brazilian, who obviously missed this round last year through injury in MotoE. But we're going to see a replay. That's turn 12, the final left-hander on this track. And that's Garzo. That's the crash that happened a few laps before. You can see he's already gesticulating as he's sliding through the gravel, his frustration. So, 3-way fight. Maybe it's a 4-way fight up at the front, because Zacconi is still pretty much in the mix there.
How impressive is this from Oscar Gutierrez? Never been to Le Mans before. We thought that he might have done, but when we asked him back in Portimao, he said, no, not at all. I'm actually going to go and learn the circuit on the PlayStation. He's gone a little bit wide there, deep. Oh, that's a huge moment in the second part of the Shimano Buff S's as well. So that certainly wasn't in the manual when he was learning the Le Mans circuit on the PlayStation, on the MotoGP game. But hopefully he can recover that one and get back onto those leading duo.
Yeah, absolutely. Gutierrez was the fastest rider on track the last time around. He was marginally faster than the leader, so he certainly was pushing on, as we could see as he was coming out of the Shimano Buff S's. I think that, though, that moment has just given the top 2 enough, and it's now going to be 2 riders fighting for first and then 2 fighting for third.
Look at the group behind as well, headed up by Mikel Pons. That's a group of about 5 or 6 riders, as we now do go on board with Mattia Casadei staring at your race leader, Nicolas Spinelli. I feel like this one is going to be a hunting job, and he's just going to leave it for the last lap and try and stab it up the inside at some certain point on that final lap. We'll wait and see how that goes, but he's got about 2 and a bit laps left to be able to study Nicolas Spinelli, see what he's doing perhaps better than what Mattia is doing himself, and then make a plan and put that plan into place.
Yeah, there's a great fight for 5th going on, as you just mentioned, Jack, between Mikel Pons and Andrea Mantovani. Kevin Zanoni is just in the background there as well. Lucas Tulovic involved. Jordi Torres has actually made a decent recovery after a nightmare first lap. He's up to 9th ahead of Matteo Ferrari. And you can see actually that we've just seen Kevin Zanoni has been given a long lap penalty for a shortcut up at turn 4. So the rider currently in 7th is going to have to face a long lap penalty that will surely drop him back outside the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll cost him around about 3 seconds. So certainly going to be a hefty one as he's dived into it already in the background. Neil spotted that one. So yeah, Kevin Zanoni served that one straight away. It drops him to about 10th place. Whether he can get onto the back of that group again and make up some places. We know they're all packed together. So let's see how Kevin can do coming through to this one. But we're about to head into the final 2 laps and Mattia is looking seriously good here.
He is, and Gutierrez is putting his absolute everything into trying to chase this leading duo down. He was 8/10 off the leader through the first split, and he's managed to get that down to about 6/10. So he's chipping away here and there as the number 99. You can see visibly he's closed in. Oscar Gutierrez putting in his best lap of the race. He was 3/10 faster than the leader last time around. So Gutierrez back in the hunt for victory.
Yeah, left Zacconi in the dust in that lap. Zacconi about 4 and a bit tenths slower than Gutierrez that time round. Oh, he's just gone a little bit deep into the Dunlop chicane. That's going to cost him a 10th or 2. That's really not what he needed. His time is running out now. We've got a lap and 3/4 to go. Oscar Gutierrez then is going to have to get a serious wriggle on if he wants to take his maiden victory here in his rookie season in the MotoE World Championship. And if he's going to do it, he's going to have to beat what is possibly one of the main contenders for the championship in Nicola Spinelli and the reigning world champion, Mattia Casadei.
Yeah, he just needs to get himself back in the mix, because I'm absolutely without doubt that Mattia Casadei is at least going to try something on Nicola Spinelli on this last lap. He looks as though he's been close enough a couple of times going into turn 1, turn 2, just to decelerate a little bit at the last minute. You feel he's just watching brief at the moment before making the last lap pass.
Yeah, definitely. It looks as though Spinelli, we've seen a couple of moments on the brakes. He had one to record him on the last lap around. We'll see how it goes now down into Shimano Buff. Pretty late there, not too much time gained from Mattia Casadei, but I think he's going to get a good run through here through the second part, and it does indeed close up just a fraction, so it's edging ever closer for the number 40, as look at how much he gained there going in. Maybe ran in a little bit too hot and lost some time on the way out, but definitely Mattia Casadei is planning this one for the next lap around, which will be the final lap.
Yeah, you would say, if not at turn 1, he's definitely going to be close enough coming into turn 13. That will be one of his favourite overtaking points. We've seen him do it towards the end of MotoE races in years gone by. And it is the top 2 with a half-second advantage over Gutierrez. So I think it's a 2-way fight for victory here, Jack, with 1 lap to go.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said at the start of this race, watch out for the drama and the chaos. So Mattia Casadei isn't able to do the move down into the Dunlop chicane, and look at that Oscar Gutierrez. He's like a little terrier, isn't he? You can't get rid of him. He's latched onto the back of them and closed in once again. He wasn't quicker that time round, courtesy of that mistake, as he's going to turn it under him at La Chapelle. You saw it spin up a little bit and turn to the inside. He has got it done. Mattia Casadei, a fantastic move, but he's not going to be able to defend the inside from Spinelli. This could all benefit Oscar Gutierrez behind. Oh, fantastically covered off by Spinelli. Got it turned down lovely there. Great move, and he holds on for this half a lap left. Can he make it a double here in Le Mans?
Absolutely textbook stuff from Spinelli there. I'm amazed that he managed to make the apex, but somehow he managed to pull it back in to the corner. This is perfect for Gutierrez as well. This is the kind of battling that he needs to get back into the victory hunt. But there's only a couple of opportunities now to overtake. One of them is now into the Shimano Buff. S's, I don't think it's going to happen here. If not, then turn 11 or turn 13.
So there's your checklist from Neil Morrison. Keep an eye out on this one. This is the first opportunity here, and Casadei definitely got a little bit of a better run than Spinelli through there. Spinelli defends perfectly into the first part of the S Bleu, but that means he is definitely going to lose a little bit of time. Watch Casadei, he'll spin this Ducati up, coming now
here he comes,
through the penultimate corner, up into Ricordo Marni, looks to the inside. Spinelli wipes his nose, and surely that will be it. Nicolas Spinelli looks as though he's going to double up here for Tech 3 at their home round in Le Mans. He does. The 29 wins and makes it a double at round 2 ahead of the world champion. Absolutely awesome from Spinelli. Cool, calm and collected as you like. Handles business here in France.
Oh, and there's been a crash for Jordi Torres on the final lap. Gutting for the Spaniard. A crash at turn 10 down at Shimano Buff S's. He had actually made great progress up into the top 6 by the last lap, but unfortunately he'll be walking away from this race too with 0 points. Well, if we were in any doubt whatsoever that Nicola Spinelli was going to be fighting for the championship this year, he has dispelled them in emphatic fashion, you would have to say, on that final lap, holding the world champion at bay in a pretty impressive manner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when the move came in from Casadei through La Chapelle, a fantastic move as well, just turned it tight. Spinelli didn't exactly go wide, did he? Casadei just made the move happen, and then he had the cool, calm and collectedness to get the drive up the hill and then down into the MotoE corner. And I mean, as you said, Neil, surprised that he made the apex, but he did, and then held on.
Exactly, that was one of two really impressive moments under brakes on that final lap. The second coming into turn 13, the penultimate turn. I was sure Casadei was going to make a move. He had positioned himself to Spinelli's right, looked as though it was definitely going to happen, but he somehow left his brake in late enough that not even Casadei could match him just there. Really impressive stuff. I think we would have to say, Jack, that of Nicola Spinelli's 4 victories he's had now in the MotoE World Championship, that was probably the most impressive.
Yeah, and that fourth victory actually takes him to fifth place on the all-time winners list, tied with Jordi Torres, a two-time champion in the series. So fantastic work then from Spinelli, racking up those victories, and also fantastic work again from Oscar Gutierrez. Never ever been to Le Mans in his life, turns up here with the MotoE motorcycle, the electric Ducati V21L, learnt this place on the PlayStation, what lines to take, what braking markers to do, and sticks it on the box in the second race of the day. And if anything, has shown that if he can get these qualifying sorted out and these first laps, he's going to be a championship contender. Yeah, that's what the difference is made whenever he makes a good start. This was the final lap when Spinelli was just a bit wide into La Chapelle. Mattia Casadei holding a brilliant tight line, and then this turned out to be the race-winning overtake. Looked as though at that moment that he was going to go in hot, but brilliantly managed to hold his line, and he did not give Casadei an inch or a space to try and pass him on the run to the line. And he knew as soon as he exited Recornemont that the job was done. Brilliant stuff from Spinelli yet again. So 3 out of 4 in 2024. I mean, definitely we knew he was going to be good coming into the start of the season, but I don't think anyone had him down to win 3 out of the first 4 races. I mean, maybe you did, Neil. I didn't know. I was just going to say that the race that he hasn't won, he crashed out of the lead, of course, in race 2 of Portimao. So Spinelli, wherever we've gone this year, has been pretty much up there fighting for the victory. So another podium then for Mattia Casadei. As we said, taking that record for the longest podium streak in the MotoE class, taking it away from Domi Agata. Of course, a former champion in the series, and it shows you just how good Casadei has been. Even when, like he says, in race 1 he was struggling, he still manages to stick it on the box. And also the second podium in his MotoE career there for the number 99, Oscar Gutierrez. Yeah, great stuff from Gutierrez, and yes, Casadei will be a little bit miffed to be beaten on the final lap by his compatriot Nicola Spinelli, but I still think when you consider where he was this time, what, a day ago or just before qualifying, he was outside the top 10 after practice, came through Q1. I think all things considered, coming away with a third and a second at a race where he maybe wasn't at his best. That's the kind of performance that wins you championships at the end of the year. Yeah, absolutely. I heavily agree on that one for sure. I'm surprised that Hervé Poncharal isn't down there. Perhaps he's a little bit busy after the MotoGP sprint. But yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that Hervé will be congratulating Nicola Spinelli later. Maybe go for a nice meal. Maybe you'll treat him to a meal. Hervé's a generous guy. Certainly is, yeah. And good to see plenty of respect between the two Italians. They were fighting for victory, the ultimate honours up there at the front at the end of that race, but still only too happy to give each other a warm embrace afterwards. It was a great race there. We didn't quite have the crazy finale that we've had at Le Mans in some years gone by, but still a very, very entertaining race. And Oscar Gutierrez coming back from a couple of mistakes where he just ran a little bit wide here or there. First it was at turn 10, then it was at turn 3, but Gutierrez showing that he is a force to be reckoned with in MotoE, and he's in Parc Fermé with Fran.
So Oscar, your first race weekend ever at Le Mans, and you're already on the podium in race 2 today in MotoE. Congratulations, how does it feel?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I told you before the race that I needed to improve the first lap, especially because we see in Portimao that I was struggling also this morning. But yeah, I study to make a good first lap, especially first lap in turn 2, because sometimes there is a bit of chaos. And yeah, I knew this morning I had the pace to be with the top guys, but some mistakes some mistakes I did. Yeah, I was struggling, but yeah, today in race 2 I enjoyed a lot, and I want to thank you, my team, because they did an amazing job also this weekend. My first time here in Le Mans. Now we go to my home GP in Montmeló, so I wait you all there, and we keep working.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Well done to Oscar Gutierrez, and an incredibly busy guy as well. You can see just in the last lap the final attempt from Casadei, but Gutierrez right there had the best seat in the house to watch that final lap battle, so we'll have to ask him about that one for sure. But yeah, Oscar, extremely busy, works as a bit of a rider coach for the EG00 team in Junior GP. So he'll be there next weekend, actually teaching the next level of stars for MotoGP. And here's one star in MotoE then, the reigning world champion, Mattia Casadei. Second place, congratulations to him. He's down with Fran.
So Mattia, Nicolas was so good on that final lap. You were looking for a way through. It felt like maybe the decision was either Spinelli wins this or Gutierrez, because it was so close. Was that a result for the championship and for another good double podium here this weekend?
Yeah, it's very good. It's 4 podium in a row from the 2024, and I'm very happy. We work very well with the team, and we are always there. I'm very happy. Nicolas today was a little bit more faster and he win. Nothing, we will try at next race in Barcelona.
To extend that all-time record. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, all-time podium streak in the MotoE World Championship. 11 podiums on the bounce for Mattia Casadei. That obviously carried him to a World Championship last year in the second half of the year. And he started this year in fairly fierce style as well. He still leads the championship as well by just 2 points now from Spinelli. You do feel that we have our two favourites for the championship, don't you? After 2 rounds of running, Jack. I think they've both drawn their lines in the sand, and it's going to be a fight that we're going to enjoy watching right the way through the year.
Absolutely, the dynamic duo, shall we say. And here is the second one of that dynamic duo. Race winner and double winner here in France, Nicolas Spinelli.
Well, Nicolas, you're now very close to the championship lead. You took a stunning double today, and on home turf for the team. It couldn't get much better. Congratulations.
Yeah, another beautiful race. It's very hot now. It's difficult with this temperature, but I'm very happy for the feeling, for the work with my team. Now we are near to Mattia in the championship, but it's important to stay focused for the next race, and we say.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats indeed, and he doesn't really look that excited after what has been pretty much a picture-perfect day here in Le Mans. 2 victories, one of them achieved in fairly thrilling fashion, battling with the reigning world champion. But, well, I guess he's experienced it all in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he, Jack? World Superbike victory, a couple of MotoE victories in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with all that excitement, as you say, the World Superbike victory on debut, this double now and leading the championship and all this, I don't think his pulse rate has got even above 50. So he's certainly quite a cool, calm and collected character. You see as he struts up to the NLX board to give that one a little signature. Will he say rock and roll again? Yeah, he will. Rock and roll. He definitely is rock and roll. He's got the laid-back lifestyle for it. Rock and roll squared. Love that. Spinelli squared then today. Absolutely done the double and done it in fine style, holding off, well, one victory in one completely different way, clearing off and winning by over a second, and another in a to-the-flag duel with what will be his main title rival. So absolutely fantastic action here from MotoE in Le Mans. And really, Neil, just can't wait to see them again in Barcelona, because last year Barcelona was also a pretty good showcase of the racing we get in MotoE.
Yeah, it was indeed. It was towards the end of the year, and we had that kind of crucial crash from Jordi Torres when he was in the midst of the championship fight with Casadei. We had 2 brilliant races. I absolutely agree with you. And we're coming up to a pretty crucial part of the MotoE calendar. Over the next month and a half, we're going to have, what, 4 rounds and 8 races, I believe, when we go to Barcelona, then Mugello, and then, of course, Assen and the Sachsenring. We'll have MotoE action coming from each of those rounds, which you will not want to miss on the basis of what you've seen today and this season. And I think we could say, after 2 thrillers in Portimao, first race today wasn't necessarily a thriller, but I think that second race there was very good. So 3 out of 4 from 2024 so far in Baku.
Yeah, absolutely, I'd agree. And even the first race today, even though it wasn't certainly an all-time classic for the MotoE class, there was definitely still some high-drama storylines there. So Oscar Gutierrez then comes out onto the podium to receive the applause from his team and the fans for his second podium, and well-earned podium. Certainly starting to show just the type of class he has. Of course, we know Oscar is an incredibly talented rider. Back in his younger years, he was a Red Bull rookie. So definitely right from the start, always had it in there. And there you can see then Casadei and Spinelli congratulating each other, as well as Gutierrez as well. And it's going to be a cracking year if these three and more, the likes of Torres, Ferrari, even Zanoni that we saw doing really, really well earlier on, if those guys can get in there and get in the fight, it's going to be a belt.
You think of names like Eric Granado, Andrea Mantovani, race winners last year, Hector Garzo, of course, as well, who was pole position here, crashed out of 2 races, obviously. Great stuff for Gutierrez and for Casadei, then lifting their trophies for 3rd and 2nd respectively. And Eduard Pufillu manages to hand out the winner's trophy. Sorry for butchering that surname there.
Valiant attempt.
But Spinelli then takes the acclaim off the fans, off the team, congregating down below. One of the coolest podiums of the year. And for the second time today, it's the Italian national anthem.
Definitely hot out there. Nicola Spinelli definitely got a little bit of a sweat on, but not to worry. We can now have a little bit of a Prosecco shower. Yep, there we go. As expected, the guys give each other a little bit of a spray. No need to be hitting those levers again. They can get cleaned up by one of the mechanics. So, yeah, away they go with the Prosecco. And yeah, definitely hot. I mean, it's even hot in the commentary box with the sun shining in through in our window. Got a little bit of a sweat on during that one. And not much of a surprise during the action.
And considering the company up here in the commentary box as well.
Absolutely.
Well, great stuff then from this top 3. And as the championship, or sorry, as the champagne sets into the eyes, the repercussions of those results set in for the championship, with Nicola Spinelli taking his 3rd win of the year.
So there you go then. Oh, ahead of Casadei, it's just gone away. Hopefully it will pop up in just a second again. There it is. Spinelli wins that one, sorry, from Casadei and Gutierrez. Fantastic stuff, split by just half a second at the line. And we can give you the rest of the order in just a second, hopefully. But it was Ciccone in 4th. A great ride from him, actually, after disappointment in the first race. And another top 5 for Andrea Mantovani too. There's your championship then, 2 points in it between the dynamic duo, as we've coined them, Casadei and Spinelli, with Kevin Zanoni still clinging on to that 3rd place after the long lap penalty he had to do, and Oscar Gutierrez, the rookie, there in 4th. Hector Garzo slips to 5th. He'll be disappointed with his day's work, and there you can see some big names lower down. Eric Granado particularly in 10th as well, and Ciccone as well. He'll be looking to pick up some more points as we do go forward throughout the 2024 campaign. In terms of the team's championship, well, it's the LCR-E team on top now, instead of the Tech 3 E-Racing team as it was earlier. 100 points, a full fat ton for them. Tech 3 E-Racing there in 2nd, and Dynavolt Intact GP in 3rd from the Open Bank Aspar team, going all the way down to the Aruba Cloud MotoE Racing team with their 2 rookies, Davies and also Pontone, who unfortunately crashed out of that one. Davies actually got a 12th, and definitely improving is Chaz Davies. We saw him do much better in terms of his gap on his lap times to the leaders this weekend, so promise there for Davies as he gets used to life on electric motorcycles and also on Michelin tyres as well. So there's a quick look at just the lower half of the top 10 as we didn't get to go through them earlier. Matteo Ferrari picked up another 8th place. I think that's his 3rd 8th place in a row. Definitely not the type of points haul we expected from Matteo Ferrari in 24, but nonetheless it's still getting points on the board, and hopefully once he does get it figured out, he will be away and cooking there, because we know that he's pretty good at some certain venues that we go to later in the year, particularly Misano. He's won a ton of races around Misano, so fingers crossed for Matteo Ferrari. Here's the highlights.
And it was another brilliant start from Nicola Spinelli from second on the grid. Victor Garzo, though, got the jump from pole position. And as ever, there was a big sort out going in to the Dunlop chicane. Casadei took an early advantage before Spinelli made a move on Garzo for second. Gutierrez was there in the mix for third. But for the second time today, Garzo crashed out. Then it became a straight-up battle between the two Italians, Spinelli and Casadei, fighting for victory. Brilliant move at turn one saw Spinelli gain the advantage. Oscar Gutierrez was never far away though, and on the final lap, Mattia Casadei took an opportunistic pass going through La Chapelle, only for his compatriot to respond at the very next turn. Spinelli, who thought he was going wide, he managed to hold the turn, and he defended brilliantly into the last double right to take his second win of the day and his third of the season so far. Spinelli from Casadei and Gutierrez, your top three. It's going to be a brilliant season with a brilliant fight between the two Italians all year long. And that is it from MotoE here at Le Mans.